Hello Silverwolves, it's Blackie and welcome back to the channel. Okay, today I'm going to talk about some lighting in camp. Me and my good friend Mr. John Pinkard were recently out camping together, and John's an old Silverwolf like me, and we talked about lights and accessories and things like that in camp, and I want to kind of bring a little of that conversation to you. Now, for a great deal of my life, when you started talking about outdoor lighting or camping, the number one thing you were going to talk about was going to be a Coleman lantern. These are great lanterns, and they do a great job at lighting a camp. A hunting camp, fishing camp, just camping to light up an entire campsite area. One of these runs a long time, hours and hours on a fueling, especially if you keep it about medium power, and therefore was more than enough to light a camp. Disadvantage: A, it's heavy. B, it was carrying the liquid fuel. C, it generated a whole lot of heat. And finally, it gave off fumes that you couldn't put in a tent or something like that. So, having sat in a boat many times, one of these things just that far away to give light to do night fishing, I can tell you, it has advantages and disadvantages. But it's great lighting for a camp. And so, especially if you got the accessory, remember these, that you spread out and could chain to the tree and hang the lantern because it was so hot it could set a tree on fire. Remember that? Let's face it, we're Silverwolves now, and our eyesight is not what it used to be, and our balance isn't what it used to be, and our reaction time isn't what it used to be. And so because of that, we kind of need to be a little mindful and a little careful, especially when we're getting out, you know, to answer nature's call in the middle of the night or whatever. And so therefore, a lot of people choose to leave some sort of light going, or to have illumination during the main nighttime until time to go to bed, and then they turn it out if they're not one that's going to get up a lot. And that's a very viable option. But like I say, in the past it was Coleman. Today we have better choices. And let's talk about them for a second. Okay, a few years ago I got this. Now, if you go to Walmart or something, you see a lot of these, this shape. That isn't it. This is the Vont, V-O-N-T. If you look on Amazon, you can find these. I got two of them for like 25 bucks. But Vont was the company that came up with this design. And you've seen me use this in videos, and I've talked about it for camp lighting because this is a great illuminate the whole thing. You pull it on, it's got a lot of really bright LEDs on it. It runs off of 3 AA batteries, and in the lid of it you can store 3 more AA batteries. Now mine, I've actually done a test on it, and it will run somewhere between 25 to 30 hours on a set of batteries. Well, now add another set and that's 60 hours. So the average amount of time I'm going to run a lantern in camp is going to be somewhere around 3 to 4 hours a night. And so this can go a long way. Now it's not very big, and it's certainly not very heavy. It's very compact, you know. And it does have handles where I can hang it up. The disadvantage to it, there's only on. You know, there's light and there ain't. Now you can do like this, like I've done, just barely pick it up just a little bit and have just a little glow for like a night light if you needed it. But for the most part, something like this works well. I've also picked up a couple others. Now this one runs off of D cells, and I think I got it at Walmart, and it's got these big LED bulbs in it, and this one ran about, I think it was 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours on a set of D cells. That one runs a lot longer, okay, and that's what we want to talk about today. On the packaging, it gives you run time. That's what you want to educate yourself when you're wanting to select one of these lanterns or something, is looms. We used to say candle power. Today they say looms. So a brighter lantern, say 1,000, 2,000, even 3,000, is great for illuminating a big area. You know, I want to hang this up in the middle of the camp by a cord up here in a tree and be able to illuminate out 25, 30 yards around me for me and my friends, so one lantern can illuminate a whole thing. That would be something you want to do. On the other hand, if I'm wanting to do just a little nightlight, I want really long run time because it's not using a lot of power. I don't need it that bright because I'm just illuminating right here when I get up during the night. It's kind of like a night light, we think, in a house. It doesn't have to be the full main power. So some sort of light that I can dial up or down is an advantage. Now this one does have an adjustment dial, but there ain't a whole lot of variation. From wide open to bottom is just like a not a true big variation. This one is a Everbright brand, and it's got a pair of table legs that fold down on it. And this one is rechargeable, and it's got a hook to hang it up. Now you press the button once and you get a clear white light. You press it again and you get an amber light. Amber light doesn't attract as many insects. Third time, it's a lower power setting. Fourth time is an emergency flasher. Now this could be helpful for us old Silverwolves when you may have to mark, signal, try to get help, etc. This may be an idea. And you have a charging port back here in the back. Now that is where things have changed a little bit, because over the years we've gone from big old D-cell flashlights and things that, as you remember back in the days when we were using the Coleman all the time, most of your hand flashlights would last maybe an hour on D-cells. You know, I remember back in the 80s, an old mag light would last about 35 minutes and it sucked them batteries dry. Well, LED was a big advantage because it uses a whole lot less current to produce the light. And the thing about it is, those old flashlights and lanterns we had with the old incandescent bulbs, when it quote died, about 60% of the power was left in them batteries. It simply didn't have enough power to make it work anymore. It had dropped below the threshold. Think of it like a big old barrel of water, and you drill a hole halfway up, well, the water will leak down to that and it doesn't go any further. So the batteries we were throwing away had about half their power left, but they couldn't make that flashlight work. LED uses a fraction of the power, and so therefore it runs a lot longer. Today, you have to, on the package, or they're supposed to, by law, they have to put down the run time. That's how long it's going to go, okay? And that's the reason I was attracted to this Vaunt, for the extremely long run time and the illumination. We want something that'll light up an area, but at the same time is not going to cost us a whole lot. But like this lantern, which is rechargeable, if you're running a solar powered brick, like I've shown in my recent videos that I use to recharge my phone, or even something like a bigger unit like my Blue Eddy with the big solar chargers on it, you could get it to work in a combination. So for example, it's summertime and it's hot as all Hades, and I need to run some sort of air at night on me, and so I've got one of them plug-in little bitty travel fans, okay, that I'm actually going to be in my vehicle or whatever camping. I can turn on and keep an air circulation. I'll be toting my bigger power bank like my Blue Eddy that you've seen in my videos, and during the day I'm letting my solar panels recharge that battery. Well, this type has the plug-in port in the back. I could just charge this up from that, couldn't I? This one ran for 2 nights, so I'm going to say somewhere between 5 and 6 hours of run time on this, on the height setting. Okay, so this gave a good camp illumination. And on the back of my vehicle, I'm now using a awning-like tarp that comes off freestanding. It's got a couple legs come out, and there's a lantern hook for me to put it up on the inside, and it's silvered on the inside as a UV protector. But that also lets me put a relatively small light source up here and illuminates a big area. Acts like a reflector, see? And so I want something that's got an extremely long run time, but at the same time isn't heavy, isn't cumbersome, etc. Now, it doesn't have to be terribly expensive either, and so I want to share this one with you. I was recently at Walmart, and I was in the automotive section, and I looked down and I saw this. Now, this has got one of them big LED bands in it, and it's about 500 looms. That's more than enough, especially when your eyes have adjusted to illuminate a camp more than you want to see. Plenty. And it's got a lower setting, about 250. Now it's got a handle on it that you can bend and angle and shape, and it's magnetic, which means, you probably can't see it down there, which means it sticks to cars. What I'm thinking about this for, because it runs off of 3 AA's, just like this lantern, and this one has a run time of, on high it's 6 hours, and on low it's 16 hours. So 16 hours is more than enough. That's going to give me like 3 days off of 3 batteries. And with 3 batteries, I would be able to do a 3 AA's. 3 batteries, I can do a solar charger and recharge batteries to put into this. I could stay in the field at least a couple of weeks of charging the batteries to plug in here with a solar charger. Okay, it's got a simple button right there that you press. That's the high setting, that's the low setting. There's only 2 settings on this. But the fact that I could stick it to the vehicle and aim it up at my big reflector up there and illuminate out an area, see, works really good. It weighs nothing. It's light. Okay, this was $13 at Walmart. It's meant to be a work light, and it's called the Hyper Tough series. You'll find it in automotives. But I like the fact I can make it freestand on a table and direct light into an area. I can hang it up. This is actually a clip, so I could clip it to a limb or something to hang up there to illuminate a camp. It doesn't weigh anything. It's small and compact and would slide down into a haversack or rucksack pretty easy. And it would carry better than this would. Now, true, this has got a lot longer run time, but like I said, the average camp, 3 to 4 hours at night, between time when I need it and I'm going to be going to bed and turning it out. We're going to be sitting around the campfire, aren't we? So I just need to keep the camp over there illuminated for me to walk back and forth and not trip over something. Because I'm sitting around the campfire looking at my friends or whatever, and I'm in the light. So my eyes have not adjusted to the dark. See? And so when I get up and I go to walk over there, if I didn't have some sort of illumination in my camp, it'd be dark. And then I'd have to use a flashlight or something because my eyes have not had time to adjust. By leaving some sort of light on in the camp, at least till bedtime, I can get to my stuff easily and etc. I want something bright, but not so bright it attracts every mosquito, every bug for 5 miles swarming around it. And being able to open this up and hang it in a tree over here to shine over there at my camp and keep the bugs over here is an advantage as well. See? Whereas this one would be perfect, like I use it for my main camp, back and forth, or we're going to walk down through the woods or whatever, I'd carry this. Also, this one would be beside my bed because just one touch, I got light. So, in conclusion, camp illumination is an important thing, especially at our age. Trip hazards, health, etc. We need to see what we're doing a little more clearly. Our eyes are not as good as they used to. We don't spring back as easily as we used to. And so having some sort of light source that I can clearly see when I need to get up and take care of nature's call. Whenever I'm going over to finish fluffing up my camper, whatever, time to go to bed. Or just when we're sitting around with friends, to help my friends see as well. Carrying some sort of light is a real advantage. I love the romance of the camp and just the, the dappled shades of the firelight. It's beautiful, but it can be dangerous for us because we stumble easy, we don't recover our balance as easy, and when we fall, we hurt a lot worse, and it takes us a lot more to recover. We're old Silverwolves. We're out here to smooth it and enjoy our time, not get hurt. Especially don't walk into a tree limb or something and get poked in the eye. And so having illumination is a big thing in camp. So what I recommend to you is, if you don't have any kind of lantern and don't want to spend a whole lot of money, something like this from Walmart, go look at it, pick up, look at the back of the package, see what the run time is. A lot of the lights that have really, really bright have a short run time because they're sucking all that juice out of that battery. You don't need a huge, you need somewhere in the at least 500 looms to fully illuminate out an area at night where you can see around. It's nice if it has a lower setting like this does to conserve and increase run time. Okay? And if you want some sort of little night light or something to leave on all night, you want something with a very long run time. Doesn't have to be that terrible bright, because when you wake up in the middle of the night, your eyes have quote adjusted to night vision. And so you'll be able to see that little low, what you thought, man, that's only like a 200 looms. At 3 o'clock in the morning, it seems like more than enough light. In fact, it's not blinding because of the fact. And one final thought. As Silverwolves at our age, we don't produce nearly as much melatonin. Now, melatonin is used to help us sleep. It kind of paralyzes us when we sleep, and it helps us go into deeper sleep. That's the reason that everything today, you see melatonin everywhere. Doctors recommend us to take melatonin, etc. Melatonin is destroyed, got rid of whenever light hits our eyes. That's when we're supposed to be waking up in the morning. So if you're going to leave a lantern on or a night light on, even at home, and you're having trouble sleeping deep, try covering your eyes up. I wear a toboggan that comes down over my eyes like this to block my eyes, and it helps me sleep. Maybe it will help you. Hope you've enjoyed this content, guys. If you have, please hit that like, share, and subscribe, and there will be more content coming up for the Silverwolves. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.